R&R with the Lords. We have Lord King David here with Tyler.
How you doing?
And we're going to be talking about the movie Shazam. Now, I got a chance to see Shazam, and I have my little comments and stuff that will go towards that. But at this moment, I really want to get Tyler's input on how he felt the movie was, and did it live up to expectations that was set forth from WB.
Man, so first off, I thought the first movie was better. Easily better.
First movie was really good, right?
First movie was awesome. This one I didn't think was terrible, but I think DC has this issue with their movies. They want a movie dark. They go way too dark on everything.
Right.
If they have a comedy, it's like no character can take anything serious ever. There's no in between, and I feel like that was kind of like my biggest nitpick of this movie is like.
So you thought it was too campy,
too jokey. No, like when things get down to seriousness, there was none of that. It was still let's try to make jokes, and I get the character's a child, but
right.
But yeah, so I liked it.
Right.
I just didn't think it was as good, and I feel like it still amplified DC's biggest problems with their movies.
All right. Well, I went into this film, and I went into thinking, that this film was going to be ridiculous. I thought Zachary Levi is a fantastic actor, and I thought that the costume changes. I mean, because we know that is toy placements, right? So the costume changes was fantastic. They went meticulously down the line. Mary Marvel looked great. Shazam looks great. Captain Marvel looked great. Billy, as a character himself, he looks great. I thought the makeup artist was a little bit off the mark with some of the older actors that was there. I thought the makeup didn't translate well to the on-screen. I thought the plot point really was weak. And I saw the agendas that they were trying to push inside the film. And I'm thinking that, we know that Shazam in the cartoons and on the comic books is a kid character that is growing up. And they had a lot of jokes leaning into his name. The fact that Warner Brothers can't say the name Captain Marvel. They had hallmarks to the TV show where you had the actual guy who played Captain Marvel there on set who said, let's go Captain Marvel. I think at this point in time, WB don't know their identity. And this movie was set up to win. I thought it felt completely flat. The movie was boring in spots. The action scenes wasn't believable at points. But again, you have a superhero movie. It's just based around two villains that you didn't get the backstory to until well on into the film. The main antagonist turns at the end point of the movie to become a helper and a good guy. Absolutely made no sense within the film. You saw the plot leaks during the whole film. I didn't think that the plot stood the test of time. How did you feel about the plot?
No, I agree. It felt rushed. Again, just broad view. You can go in and watch this movie and enjoy it. You're not going to hate the whole thing 24/7.
Right.
But it was really rushed. Not everything was explained. The backstory was rushed. It felt like people were making decisions without, like you said, a whole lot of explanation to it.
Yeah.
Oh, I have this crush, so I'm just going to jump over with you instead of a whole lot of thought to it.
Exactly.
It felt really rushed. And I won't say lazy, but rushed is probably the best word.
I thought the CGI was poor.
Yeah.
Again, I had high expectations for this film, and I felt it fell flat. I gave it 2 popcorn out of a 5 popcorn system. What rating would you give it?
I feel like two's probably accurate. Yeah. Again, I loved the first one. The first one was hilarious. It was good all the way around. You go in the second one hoping you get the same thing, and it's not close. So
actually falls flat.
Yeah, it falls flat. You can watch it and enjoy it, but it's not by any means close to what the first one was. So
I personally would not recommend you go see this film. I would wait for it to come on any streaming device that you actually watch, any streaming service that you actually get. And that's a wait on this film. Again, this is Iron Lord's podcast. This is Lord King. Coming to you with R&R with the Lords. Lord Attic did not see this film. That's why Lord Attic is not in this set. But Tyler and I did, so definitely check it out. he felt like, to me, if Bruce Lee was allowed to age.
Yes, absolutely. Donnie Yen played a blind character named Kane, who is a lifelong friend of John Wick, and I forget the name of the other character. Japanese character he was in The Last Samurai.
Oh yeah, and the one that was on Bullet Train.
Yes.
One thing I don't like about Kane in there is because I feel like at the beginning they kind of like put him in realms of reality where he's putting the sensors up to make like, okay, this is how he fights.
Right.
But then that's literally after that's okay. Now I guess he can see everything.
But I liked it. It felt like as soon as he was close to something, he could parse it out.
He felt like Daredevil.
Going up the stairs, he hitting everyone like he knows.
Yeah, when he was shooting,
like he knows
yeah,
exactly.
For some reason at the beginning,
They're not paying attention to this part. They're not paying. But I like the fact that they even gave him that, where it's like, all right, he's not superhuman. He needs all of these things to sort of figure out where people are.
It's like they did it just to show he's blind, but then it's like after that, it's like he's not blind.
Nah, he's Daredevil. These dudes are superheroes.
Yeah. So I'll tell you this. I right off the bat, the fact that he was attacking the high table at the beginning of the movie, I was like, yo, wait, hold
where
up.
we at with this?
So he's thinking in his mind, he's like, I'm ending this from the top. I'm cutting the snake's head off.
Yeah.
And what they told him is like, the high table is kind of this omnipotent thing. You kill individuals at
And
the
then
high
another
table,
person takes his
someone just
place.
comes to take over. The network is that big.
It's like Shadow of Mordor.
Exactly. There's always another one. Right. It's the nemesis system.
Yeah,
I'm like,
he has the nemesis system.
right.
You know?
So it is this thing where it's like he realizes that and it's like, okay, if you want to exact your revenge, if exacting your revenge takes you to the path where, hey, I just want to get out.
Yeah.
Where is my path to getting out? And when he finds out the path to getting out, it seems like a much simpler quote unquote path than destroying the whole thing.
Yeah, because you can't.
He accepts that he can't destroy the whole
Right.
thing. He just wants out. And to me, what I loved about it was the pure action and the way they elevated the action. In every single big sort of set piece action moment, they elevate the action in weird ways that you wouldn't even think about.
That you didn't expect it, because Attic and I thought it was going to be one way with that last step scene.
Yes.
And
You know, what's funny is we thought it was one way because we're like, it's too simple. They're not going to do what we think, and they do what's simple.
They do the simple thing, but then they iterate on it and they make it even crazier. Like one of the things that was interesting to me, when they were doing the fight scene in the street and the cars were hitting over, every time either John Wick or one of the antagonists got hit by a car and got flipped on the sky, you see them shooting people in midair.
They were juggling people with guns.
They were doing gun juggles, and I'm like, okay, this is what you do when you take a look at an action scene. It's like, how can I make this even more ridiculous?
Over the top, yes.
And it was you were seeing video game combos in this game.
It was beautiful.
So it was a thing. I remember, I forgot who told us here, but someone who told us, hey, they had seen the movie already, and they said, it's a video game, and it absolutely is.
One thing that I want to like briefly talk about is like there's a part where he's using dragon bullets.
Yes.
and it's a weird
when they go isometric,
and you just see
it's Hotline Miami.
Yeah, and he's going from room to room, and it's looking like he's killing vampires because there's so much fire. Like
it looks like Blade when Blade stabs, and they just blow up and they incinerate.
All right, so
then when you see
let's
triple taps, like you shoot the same dude 3 times.
Okay.
Remember, he shot the one dude, he ran into the other dude.
No, but he shot him. He was on fire, and he comes around the other side. All right, so I just want to ask y'all, which is your best? If you had to pick one fight scene, what's your best fight scene from the film?
I'm gonna say the car scene.
All right, yours
I
is the
really
car?
like that because there was a lot of. Obviously, that was the most unrealistic thing to me because it's like that's first off, why is these cars still going? Like,
It's nuts. It was,
but
so
it was
in the
done
Grand Circle.
well though.
Yes.
Like,
What's yours?
So for me, one thing I noticed is that there was less extended periods of John fighting.
Right.
And it was you were jumping from scene to scene, and I love the gunplay, but I love when he's able to fight one-on-one with somebody, mixing up the gunplay with
So,
the hand-to-hand.
which is your best
So
scene?
the first fight with Donnie Yen, I love that because it was both. It was the gunplay.
All right, so when they was in the glass area.
in the glass area, yes. And then after that,
just one scene.
Okay,
You pick
okay.
one scene only. That's it. I mean, this film
already
is
said
full with scenes.
King.
So he said that, you already picked it. Mine is when he fought the Kingpin.
Oh, that's right.
He fought the Kingpin in the middle of the club.
They make you really think that he's
He's
gonna
down.
run over this dude.
Yeah.
And that dude actually
He
put up
can-
a fight.
Because he ran away initially, right? He ran away. You're like, oh, he's just a coward surrounded by his minions.
Yeah, but no, for you to sit at the table, all these dudes is beneath the table.
Right.
But if you have a high seat beneath the table, you have to be a competent dude.
Yes.
And he killed, was it Yuri from the last John Wick, or was
Yes.
it John Wick 3? And they wanted to extract revenge. That was my favorite scene. Now, what is the rating that you would give this? Being that you're the guest host, we have a 5 popcorn tier, 5 being the highest popcorn, 1 being the lowest popcorn. What popcorn?
It
would
gets
you
a
give
5 popcorn tier for me. For me, I get it when it comes to they got to this point. So the story exposition is kind of nil compared to earlier in the series, but the action quotient is a 10. So to me, like if you could go into this not knowing about John Wick, and still thoroughly enjoy it because it is that kind of action movie. I put it up there with the likes of The Raid.
Oh yes, they had scenes of The Raid there. Yeah,
Just think Ong Bak, The Raid.
yeah, exactly.
I put it up there with the likes of that, and that's a special sort of category to
Yeah,
me. So to
that's
me, I loved
for
it.
beat 'em ups tier, yeah.
for real. That was my take.
At it.
I feel like they did everything they were meant to. It's like I mentioned earlier, this movie, the narrative could have been better, but I think the whole point of it was he's cleaning house. He's done with everything. He's done what he was supposed to in the previous ones, and now he's bringing down the whole house. And that's why I can't hit it too much for the narrative. I do feel like they could have done little things to make it better. I got to give it a 5.
Give it a 5
I think that's the first time I've ever gave anything a 5 on R&R, because it was just... They wanted to put on the best action flick you could watch, and that is definitely what I watched last night.
All right. So me personally, I was kind of upset because there's some characters that are there that I don't have backstory to, and I really wanted to have backstory on the Hunter. I really wanted to have a little bit of more story on a couple of other characters. You had a mid boss that I wanted the backstory on.
Right.
But those shortcomings, I can't deny. This is probably the best action film that's on screen. Keanu and the team did a phenomenal job.
Did you see where he was saying that this is the roughest, physical on?
Yeah, of course, and I can tell. I mean, but I love that they mixed it because when they did the isometric stuff from room to room, it felt like a Diablo game, top down.
It really felt like a game.
It
like a game.
was really good, very well done. I got to give this 5 popcorn. I suggest that anybody in the earshot of this, if you're a dude, bro, if you want to go there and have a good time with your friends, go check out this film. And always keep in mind, it's probably the best non-story having film going. But
I would say if you were to rate them individually, the narrative is like a 3. But everything else is above a 5. It's like a 6, and it brings that 3 up too.
Yeah, it holds its weight. So
It really does.
So take us out since you're the guest host. R&R with the Love Pass.
This is Lord Saab, joined by Lord King, Lord Addict. I had a pleasure of watching John Wick with my brothers, Chapter 4 last night with my brothers, and together, which we never have an opportunity to do.
The other lords left us.
Left us behind, so that's all right.
We had to
were able
refund
watch
the tickets
it.
because they wanted
But
to
again,
do some other stuff.
I appreciate my bros bringing me onto R&R. Yeah, exactly. I appreciate my bros bringing me on for R&R to discuss John Wick. This is an amazing movie. Go see it. Even if you haven't seen the other ones, trust me, you should watch the other ones. But trust me, you will have a fantastic time. So this is Lord Saab signing out from R&R with the Lords from PAX East 2023. Lord King, Lord Addict, lordsofgaming.net, and the Iron Lords podcast.
Peace.